A woman from Detroit bought a 3-bedroom house 8 minutes from the beach for $67,000. Not a down payment. The entire house. She posted the listing on Reddit and people literally reported it as a scam. They thought it was a phishing link. It was not. The house was real. The beach was real. And she has been living there for 2 years now, walking to the Gulf of Mexico in flip-flops every single morning. Here's what broke my brain while researching this video. We all accept that beach living is expensive. That is just how it works, right? Oceanfront means overpriced. Coastal means unaffordable. Saltair has a luxury tax. Except it does not. Not everywhere. The average American believes you need at least $400,000 to buy a home near a beach. In California, that number is closer to $1 million. In most of Florida, $350,000 barely gets you a condo 20 minutes from sand. So people give up. They retire inland. They settle for a landlocked town because the math never worked for the coast. But what if I told you there are real beach towns in America where median home prices are under $200,000? Some under $150,000, and one town where the median home costs less than a new truck. We are counting down 12 of them. These are not abandoned fishing villages with nothing in them. These are actual towns with grocery stores, hospitals, restaurants, and real beaches you can walk to. Some of them will genuinely make you think something is wrong with the listing. Nothing is wrong. They are just cheap. Like this video if you have ever closed the Zillow tab on a beach town because the prices made you physically ill. Subscribe because this channel finds the places the real estate industry does not want you comparing to their overpriced coastal listings. Let us start. Number 12. Pensacola, Florida. Number Pensacola, Florida. And I am starting here because most people do not realize Pensacola is this affordable. Median home price around $235,000 for the Florida Panhandle with white sand beaches that regularly make national top 10 lists. Pensacola Beach has been ranked among the best beaches in America multiple times by publications that usually reserve those spots for places charging triple the housing costs. Pensacola is a military town anchored by Naval Air Station Pensacola. That military presence creates economic stability and keeps the community grounded in ways that pure tourist towns never achieve. Cost of living runs about 6% below the national average. In Florida. On the beach, Florida means no state income tax. Your Social Security, your pension, your retirement withdrawals. Florida does not touch them. The honest downside. Hurricane risk is very real, and insurance costs reflect that. Summer humidity is oppressive. Tourist season brings traffic, and Pensacola is not as cheap as what is coming later on this list. But as a starting point, a Florida beach town with nationally ranked beaches under $240,000 is already raising eyebrows. Number 11. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Number 11. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Median home price around $215,000. Now I know what you are thinking. Myrtle Beach is touristy. It is loud. It is the spring break capital of the East Coast. And you are not entirely wrong. But here is what most people miss. Myrtle Beach is a massive area. The tourist strip is one part of it. Step 5 miles in any direction, and you find established residential neighborhoods where retirees walk their dogs on the beach at sunrise, and the loudest sound is pelicans arguing over fish. 60 miles of coastline. No state tax on Social Security. Property taxes around 0.57%, which is among the lowest in America. On a $200,000 home, that is roughly $1,100 a year in property tax. A year? Downsides. Tourism infrastructure means the town revolves around visitors from May through September. Hurricane risk exists. Some neighborhoods have higher crime. And the Myrtle Beach reputation bothers people who want quiet coastal but the math does not care about reputation. Under $220,000 for a beach town with 60 miles of sand and property taxes that cost less than most people's monthly streaming subscriptions. Number 10, Daytona Beach, Florida. Number 10, Daytona Beach, Florida. And this one genuinely surprised me during research. Median home price around $220,000. 23 miles of beach, home of the Daytona International Speedway. And somehow still affordable in a state where coastal real estate has gone completely insane. Daytona works because it was never exclusively a wealthy enclave. It has always been a working-class beach town. That identity kept prices from rocketing the way Miami or Fort Lauderdale did. The economy is diversified enough between tourism, healthcare, education, and motorsports to stay stable without the extreme wealth concentration that prices out normal people. A retired teacher from Ohio bought a 3-bedroom home 4 miles from the beach for $192,000. She told a retirement forum that every morning she drives to the beach and parks on the actual sand because Daytona is one of the few beaches in America where you can drive directly onto it. Her words were, "I keep waiting for someone to tell me I can't actually afford this." Downsides include hurricane exposure, some neighborhoods with higher crime that you need to research carefully, tourist congestion during events, and humid summers that feel like breathing through a wet towel. But still, Florida beach town, no state income tax, under $225,000. That math works for a lot of retirement budgets. Number 9, Galveston, Texas. Number 9, Galveston, Texas. Sitting on a barrier island in the Gulf of Mexico about 50 miles southeast of Houston, median home price around $220,000. Population about 50,000. And Galveston has something most cheap beach towns do not. History. Victorian architecture. A historic downtown Strand district. Cultural character that gives the town an identity beyond just sand and water. Texas means no state income tax. Cost of living is roughly 4% below the national average. You get Houston's world-class medical center less than an hour away. Major international airport access. Professional sports if you want them. And then you come home to an island. A retired engineer from Dallas told a Texas relocation group that Galveston gave him beach, living with big city access at small-town prices. His home costs $208,000 on an island with Gulf views from his second floor. The brutal honesty. Galveston was devastated by Hurricane Ike in 2008. Hurricane risk is not theoretical here. It is historical, and it is guaranteed to happen again. Insurance costs are high. The water is not Caribbean blue, it is brown Gulf water. Seaweed is a seasonal reality, and humidity in summer is genuinely suffocating. But for a beach island town with this much character, history, and big city proximity at this price, Galveston earns its spot. Number 8, Fort Pierce, Florida. Number 8, Fort Pierce, Florida, the Sunrise City on Florida's Treasure Coast. Median home price, around $225,000. And Fort Pierce sits between two of Florida's most expensive areas, Vero Beach to the north and Stewart to the south, where homes regularly exceed $400,000. Fort Pierce is the affordable gap between two wealthy neighbors. The Indian River Lagoon, Atlantic beaches, and a revitalized downtown waterfront area give Fort Pierce a charm that punches well above its price point. The economy has diversified with healthcare, education, and agricultural technology. Florida tax advantages apply fully here. No state income tax, and the beach access is legitimate Atlantic coast oceanfront. Downsides include some neighborhoods with higher crime rates that require careful research before buying hurricane vulnerability, as with all of coastal Florida, and the fact that Fort Pierce is less polished than its expensive neighbors, which is precisely why it is more affordable. If you want Florida Atlantic Coast Beach living without selling a kidney, Fort Pierce deserves serious research. All right. We are entering the top 7, and the prices start getting ridiculous. I am talking beach towns where the median home costs less than what some people pay for a luxury SUV. And number 1, a beach town where the median home costs less than most people's student loan debt? Keep watching! Number 7, Panama City, Florida. Number 7, Panama City, Florida. And I need to be specific. Not Panama City Beach. Panama City proper, the actual city across the bridge. Median home price, around $200,000. While Panama City Beach charges tourist premiums, the city side of the bridge gives you bay access, beach proximity within 15 minutes, and prices that are dramatically lower. Panama City has a legitimate economy beyond tourism. Tyndall Air Force Base, Bay Medical Center, a growing technology sector. The military and healthcare presence creates stability that pure beach resort towns never achieve. Hurricane Michael devastated Panama City in 2018. That is the honest truth, and it cannot be ignored. But the rebuilding has brought newer construction, updated infrastructure, and a community that proved its resilience. Some of the best home values exist because of post-hurricane rebuilding at modern codes. One retiree who moved from Atlanta bought a Bayview home for $186,000. She drives to the beach in 12 minutes and watches sunsets over St. Andrews Bay from her living room. Her exact quote to a Florida retirement group: "People pay $500,000 for this view in other states. I paid less than my daughter's condo in Midtown Atlanta." Humidity, hurricane risk, and summer heat are the downsides. But at this price for coastal Florida, the value equation is hard to argue with. Number 6, Corpus Christi, Texas. Number 6, Corpus Christi, Texas! Population over 300,000. This is not a small town. This is a proper city that happens to sit on the Gulf of Mexico with an actual beach called North Padre Island, 15 minutes from downtown. Median home price, around $180,000. For a city of 300,000 on the coast, with no state income tax. Corpus Christi gives you something most cheap beach towns cannot. Full city infrastructure. Multiple hospitals. A university. Shopping. Dining. An international airport. Professional minor league sports. All of it. You do not sacrifice urban conveniences to afford the beach. Mustang Island and North Padre Island provide legitimate beach access. The Texas State Aquarium and USS Lexington Museum sit on the bayfront, and the fishing here is world class. If that matters to your retirement, a retired Navy veteran who served at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi came back to retire. He bought a 4-bedroom home for $165,000, 12 minutes from the base where he once served, 15 minutes from Padre Island beaches. He told a veterans forum that his military pension covers his mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and utilities, with money left over every month. He called it absurdly affordable for coastal living. The real downsides. Summer heat exceeds 100 degrees with humidity that makes it feel worse. Hurricane risk is constant on the Texas coast. Refineries and industrial facilities are visible in parts of the city. And the beach water is Gulf of Mexico brown, not postcard turquoise, but a full-size city on the coast with median homes under 180 and no state income tax. Corpus Christi makes expensive coastal cities look like financial traps. Number 5. Bay Street, Louis, Mississippi. Number 5. Bay, St. Louis, Mississippi. And this is where the list shifts from surprisingly affordable to genuinely shocking. Median home price around $195,000. Population roughly 13,000. Sitting on the Mississippi Gulf Coast with a charming small town downtown. Art galleries, local restaurants, and a creative community that feels more like a coastal village than a retirement destination. Bay St. Louis was devastated by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The town rebuilt with character. Artists, writers, and retirees discovered it during the rebuilding and created a community with genuine cultural depth that most cheap beach towns lack entirely. Mississippi cost of living is among the lowest in America. Property taxes are low, and the beach access is real. The Gulf of Mexico is right there. Downside: hurricane vulnerability is the defining reality of this town. Katrina proved that. Mississippi infrastructure and services are limited compared to other states. Healthcare options require research, and the Gulf water is warm but not crystal clear. But a beach town with an arts community, genuine charm, and median homes under $200,000. Bay St. Louis is the kind of place that makes people rethink everything they assumed about affordable coastal living. Number 4. Long Beach, Mississippi. Number 4. Long Beach, Mississippi. Right next door to its more famous neighbors. Population, about 16,000. Median home price around $165,000. And Long Beach is the quieter, more residential alternative to Biloxi and Gulfport. Less casino tourism. Less noise. More neighborhood stability. Same Gulf Coast. The University of Southern Mississippi Gulfport campus sits here, adding cultural and educational resources. The local harbor has a thriving small boat community. And the town maintains a genuine residential character that feels like a real community rather than a tourist attraction. One retired couple from Memphis bought a home 6 blocks from the beach for $152,000. They told a Mississippi retirement forum that they eat fresh. Gulf seafood 3 times a week from local markets, walk to the beach daily, and their total monthly housing costs, including mortgage, taxes, and insurance, are under $1,100. Under $1,100 a month. Total. 6 blocks from the beach. Mississippi tax structure is favorable. No tax on the first $54,000 in retirement income for married couples. Cost of living is roughly 15% below the national average. Downsides are consistent with the rest of the Mississippi coast. Hurricane risk, limited health care compared to larger states. Gulf water quality varies, and Mississippi ranks low on many quality of life metrics that matter to some people. But the price to beach proximity ratio here is almost hard to believe. Top 3. I saved the most unbelievable for last. These are beach towns where the prices genuinely look like listing errors, where you will check Zillow, see the numbers, and assume something is wrong with the website. Nothing is wrong. Let us go. Number 3. Gulfport, Mississippi. Number 3. Gulfport, Mississippi. Population about 72,000. The second largest city on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Median home price around $150,000. In a city with 72,000 people, a regional airport, multiple hospitals, shopping centers, restaurants, and 26 miles of man-made beach along the Gulf Coast. Gulfport gives you actual city infrastructure at a price that smaller beach towns cannot match for services. You are not sacrificing convenience here. Walmart, Home Depot, major grocery chains, medical facilities, they are all present, and the beach is free. No parking fees, no access charges. Just show up. Keesler Air Force Base is nearby, contributing to regional economic stability. The Port of Gulfport is a working commercial port that keeps the economy diversified beyond tourism and casinos. A retired postal worker from Chicago bought a 3-bedroom home in Gulfport for $138,000. She told a retirement planning group that her entire monthly housing cost is less than what she paid in rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Chicago. She goes to the beach 4 times a week. In December, while her former neighbors shovel snow. Hurricane Katrina reshaped this entire coast. That reality defines every purchase decision here. Insurance costs are significant. Gulf water is warm, but not the clear blue of the Atlantic or Caribbean. Mississippi's overall state rankings in education and healthcare give some retirees pause. But 72,000 people, full city services, and a median home price of $150,000 on the Gulf Coast. The math almost feels illegal. Number 2, Biloxi, Mississippi. Number 2, Biloxi, Mississippi. And if Gulfport surprised you, Biloxi is going to break something in your brain. Median home price around $140,000. Population about 46,000. Sitting directly on the Mississippi Sound with Gulf of Mexico access. Casino, entertainment, fresh seafood restaurants, and a history that stretches back to 1699, making it one of the oldest continuous settlements in America. $140,000 for a coastal city with casinos, restaurants, a lighthouse built in 1848, charter fishing boats, and beaches you can walk to from residential neighborhoods. Biloxi's casino industry provides significant employment and tax revenue that benefits residents through lower property taxes and better services than you would expect for a Mississippi city this size. Keesler Air Force Base adds military economic stability. Healthcare is better than average for the Mississippi coast. A retired couple from Minneapolis sold their landlocked suburban home for $380,000, bought a home in Biloxi for $136,000, and banked the remaining $244,000 for retirement. They live on the Gulf Coast. They eat shrimp caught that morning. They watched the sun set over water every single evening. And they netted almost $250,000 in the transaction. Their exact words on a retirement forum. We traded snow for sand and made $240,000 doing it. Please, explain how this is real. Downsides are the Mississippi coast reality, hurricanes, insurance costs, Gulf water that is warm but murky, state infrastructure limitations. And casino culture is not for everyone, since parts of town feel more like Las Vegas than a quiet coastal retirement. But the fundamental math remain. $140,000. On the coast, in a city with restaurants, entertainment, and actual services. That is not normal. Number 1, Port Arthur, Texas. Number 1. And this is the one that makes people report listings as scams. Port Arthur, Texas. Median home price, $85,000. I need you to read that number again. $85,000. For a home in a coastal city of roughly 54,000 people with Gulf of Mexico access, Pleasure Island beaches, fishing, and a full suite of city services. Port Arthur sits on the Gulf Coast of southeast Texas, connected to the Gulf by Sabine Pass. Pleasure Island is a recreational area with beaches, fishing piers, and water access. The city has grocery stores, hospitals, restaurants, and the infrastructure of a functioning mid-sized city. $85,000. That is less than a new, fully loaded pickup truck. That is less than 1 year of rent in most coastal California cities. That is less than some people's student loan balances. Texas means no state income tax. At this home price, your property taxes on a median home are roughly $1,500 a year. Your total monthly housing cost with a paid-off home is essentially just insurance, taxes, and utilities. We are talking under $500 a month for coastal living. So why is it this cheap? Here is the honest truth that earns your trust. Port Arthur is an oil refinery city. Multiple major refineries and petrochemical plants are visible and present. Air quality concerns are real and documented. The economy is heavily dependent on the petroleum industry. Parts of the city show visible economic struggle. Crime rates are higher than the other entries on this list. Hurricane risk is significant, and the city was hit hard by Hurricane Harvey in 2017. I am not going to pretend Port Arthur is paradise. It is not. It is an industrial, coastal city with real problems that directly explain why housing costs what it does. But here is why it is number 1. Because nothing else in America demonstrates the gap between perception and reality like Port Arthur, a coastal city where you can buy a home for less than a luxury handbag costs in some department stores, where you can walk to the Gulf of Mexico from neighborhoods with homes under $100,000. Where the beach exists, The seafood is fresh, the sunsets are real, and the price tag makes the entire American coastal real estate market look like organized fraud. A retired refinery worker who spent his career in Port Arthur owns his home outright, paid $62,000 for it 8 years ago. He fishes in the Gulf 3 days a week. He eats fresh, caught redfish and speckled trout from his own cooler. His total monthly living expenses, including everything, are under $1,400. On the coast, he told a Texas forum, "People fly to Cancun. For what I have in my backyard, my house costs less than their vacation budget. Port Arthur is not for everyone." The refineries, the air quality, the crime rates, and the economic challenges are genuine concerns that require honest evaluation. But for someone on a tight fixed income who wants coastal access at a price that seems mathematically impossible, Port Arthur exists, and it is real. Picture this. You buy a home for $85,000. You pay it off with savings. Your monthly costs drop below $500. You drive to Pleasure Island and fish in the Gulf. You eat what you catch. You watch the sun set over the water. And your total annual housing cost is less than 1 month's rent in San Francisco. That is not a scam. That is just a beach town nobody talks about. 12 beach towns! From $235,000 down to $85,000. All real, all coastal, all with sands you can actually touch and water you can actually swim in. The question is simple. Would you trade Instagram-worthy turquoise water for brown Gulf waves if it meant actually being able to afford the beach? Drop your answer in the comments. Yes, affordable beach, access beats pretty water. Or no, I need clear blue water, or it does not count. Like this video if you just realized beach living does not require a 6-figure down payment. Subscribe because this channel finds the places that real estate marketing does not want you to know about. Hit the bell so the next one lands in your feed. Because the beach is not expensive. The popular beaches are expensive. And there is a massive difference.